to welcome you to another question to ponder. And I have a question today I want you to think about from the first book of the Bible, the book of Genesis, first book of the Pentateuch. And I'm reading from chapter 32 and verse 24. And it says this: "So Jacob was left alone, and a man wrestled with him till daybreak. When the man saw that he could not overpower him, he touched the socket of Jacob's hip, so that his hip was wrenched as he wrestled with the man. Then the man said, 'Let me go, for it's daybreak.' Jacob replied, 'I will not let you go unless you bless me.' The man said, 'What is your name?' 'Jacob,' he answered. The man said, 'Your name will no longer be Jacob, but Israel, because you've struggled with God and with man, and you have overcome.'" This is a very interesting story. In the Old Testament, sometimes God appeared, the angel of the Lord often referred to, always looking like a man, but it was God himself, the second person of the Trinity, the Son of God, appearing. And here we see Jacob, one of the patriarchs, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, the youngest son, and he wrestles with this theophany, this angel. It looks like a man. All night long they wrestle, and finally the question is asked, "What is your name?" And he says, "My name is Jacob." And he said, "No more. It will now become Israel." Now, why is that significant? There was something about that name, Jacob. It means supplanter or deceiver, or in some translation, trickster, somebody who's always hustling somebody else. And that was really the pattern of Jacob's life. His twin brother was Esau, and he tricked him out of the birthright. The firstborn son in a Jewish family got a double portion of the family inheritance. So Esau, even though they were twins, came out of the womb first. Jacob, holding on to his heel, came out second. So by birthright, he would get a double portion of the family blessing. He would also become the spiritual leader or priest in his home for the generations to come. And for a bowl of soup, he hustled his brother out of the birthright. He sold him the birthright for a bowl of soup. Later on, he deceived his father. His father was getting old. His father is Isaac. His eyesight is gone. And he wants to pass on the family blessing, the blessing of the patriarch, to the oldest son, which would be Esau. Jacob, with the help of his mother, deceives his father that he is the older brother. And because the father was blind, he said, "Well, who is that?" And he said, "I am Esau." So in other words, he's saying, "What's your name?" He says, "Esau." And now, in this interaction with God, he's wrestled with the Lord all night long. He says, "What is your name?" He says, "Jacob." He said, "No longer. It will now be Israel." Now, the name Israel means prince with God. Here's what I want you to know. When you wrestle with God, when you have an encounter with God, he will change your life. He'll change your life. He will change three things in your life, just like he did in Jacob's life. Here they are. Pay close attention. He will change your walk. Because in this encounter, he touches his hip, and now he's limping. For the rest of his life, Jacob has a limp, reminding him of the night he wrestled with an angel of God. He changed his name from deceiver to prince with God. The name Israel means a prince with God. God can change your name. He can change your walk. You may have walked in sin and unrighteousness. Now you can walk in obedience to Jesus Christ. He will change your name from sinner to saint. And the third thing he changed for this man, he can change for you. He'll change your relationship. Instead of this man being a rebel who was an embarrassment to God, he now becomes a child of God. How about you? Were you a rebel? Are you a rebel? God can change your walk. You walk in righteousness. God will change your name from deceiver to prince or princess with God. God will change your relationships. Instead of being in conflict with everybody else and yourself, You can be at peace with God and be called a child of God. On this day, I ask you that question, what is your name? I want you to receive the name of a second-born child of God, not just your first birth in the flesh, but your second birth in the Spirit. It changes everything. Your walk, your name, and your relationship.